All right, let's talk about deer hunting on Long Island, shall we? My computer has been acting up. This is my second attempt at this video. So let's talk about this situation we have with deer hunting on Long Island. Now, as you may or may not know, we're going to talk a little bit about New York State Department of Environmental Conservation lands. And during the month of January, for much of the month, the woods are closed to people hiking. We're not allowed to go into many of the New York State DEC managed areas. It would be Rocky Point, Sarnoff, some parts of West Hampton, and even other parks because there is deer hunting going on in the woods. And because of that, they don't allow people to go hiking in there. Now, in order to go hiking in it, now let me tell you something about deer. All right, I don't blame these animals for the problems that are going on Long Island. People say, "Oh, we have a deer overpopulation issue. Humans are coming into contact with deer more often." Well, you know why that's happening is because we're destroying all the natural lands, because of the development. So there's less land for the deer to live on, and we have more people coming out here. So of course, you're going to have more people coming into contact with deer. And shooting the deer and killing them is not the answer to that problem. All right? And, I am against this long firearm season for the entire month of January. A lot of it has to do with them closing off the woods. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about New York State DEC managed lands. So you see here this sign here. This was earlier this year, Riverhead, EPCAL. They have the woods closed because there's deer hunting in progress. Walking trail closed. And this was earlier this year. You could see January 7th through January 31st, 2019. So the woods are closed for most of the month of January, which is one of the best months to hike. It's one of the coldest months. For the entire month, you can't go walking in a lot of the Long Island Pine Barrens because of this hunting. And this is actually the EPCAL trail at Riverhead. So, this was last year. There was an article, and they said that the police are going to be there. They might issue, summonses and maybe even arrest people for hiking. Yes, that is what they are doing. So a bunch of people can go into the woods and shoot deer, which is just ridiculous. So let's talk about how New York State Department of Environmental Conservation works as far as NYSDEC lands. So on NYSDEC lands, you need a seasonal access permit for all activities on New York State DEC managed lands. This is a free permit, and it is valid for 3 years. So you have to observe these regulations. So there are regulations for New York State DEC managed lands in Suffolk County. So access permits are free and valid for 3 years, but you need to have this permit. It needs to be carried on with you at all times, displayed on you and in your car if you have a car in the parking lot. Permits are required for anyone 12 years or older. And during the January Firearms Deer Hunting season, these permits are not valid for any other activity during the January firearms deer season on properties where firearms deer hunting is permitted. So the Long Island public hunting areas will look at that. All vehicles must be parked and associated with the vehicle pass through the windshield. And hunters may be present on all but Edgewood, but from September 1st to April 16th. There are other types of hunting there. Individuals may not interfere with permitted activities. Operation of motor vehicles on the properties are prohibited. Fires of any type are prohibited. Obviously, construction of blinds and tree stands is prohibited. Littering is prohibited. Obviously, makes sense, including spent shells and cigarette butts. I see shells all the time. It's permit holders must obey all posted notices, signed and printed material, and lawful instructions from the New York State DEC staff. So hiking is not prohibited. This is the one here. Hiking is not permitted on properties open to firearms deer hunting during the January firearms deer hunting season, which begins on the first Sunday in January and continues until January 31st. All right? So you have all these rules basically to get onto New York State DEC properties. So if we look at all the lands here that do have firearms, this is a map generally of where the areas are. Rocky Point, Otis Pike Preserve, part of EPCAL, part of Manaville Hills even, Sarnoff, even part of West Hampton, You have some areas out east. So a large portion of the Pine Barrens is closed to the public during this hunting season, and it's during the entire month of January that this hunting season is. Here's another map of the public hunting areas that are on Long Island here. And again, during this firearms deer season, you gotta have the permit. You gotta have all this. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, you don't have any of that. You don't need a permit to go hiking in New Jersey's Pine Barrens. You can hike every day of the year, unless they're doing a controlled burn. You can hike every single day of the year. They don't have any such regulation at all. All right, New Jersey doesn't have any of that. If we go click on park advisories, you don't see anything about that at all. All right, you don't see any of that at all. So again, New Jersey, you can go hiking anytime. Obviously they do have no swimming alerts for public safety. That makes sense, obviously, in some areas. So this is what they have in New Jersey. So Double Trouble State Park has a 6-day. This is New Jersey. They only have a 6-day firearm season. That's exactly what we should be doing here. Only 6 days. All right, only 6 days for firearms deer hunting. All right, that is a great plan from New Jersey. And you know what's even better in New Jersey? People can still go hiking when it's firearms. So you can still go to Double Trouble and hike. Just follow some common sense, wear bright colors, But you can go hiking. They're not going to keep you out of the woods. But on Long Island and New York, it's a totally different story. So a New York State, all right, so here you go. And they talk about this firearms deer hunting season, all right? Not allowed, all right? Not allowed. So you're not allowed to go hiking in there. This is actually an old permit because it's now weekends too. All right, so permit is not valid during the January firearms deer season on Rocky Point Natural Managers Resources Managers. That's Rocky Point Preserve, Otis Pike Preserve, Sarnoff, Barcelona Neck, West Tiana, East Hampton Cooperative Area, West Hampton Management Area. So it begins on the first Monday following the first Saturday in January and extends through the last weekday of the month, and it's on weekends too, not just weekdays. This is an old permit here. All right, so the bottom line is you can't go hiking in the Pine Barrens during the January shotgun deer season on Long Island. So this kind of explains the rant that I was doing in my Pine Barrens video the other day about this, because it's ridiculous. And it has to end. And people say, oh, well, just go to New Jersey. Just go to New Jersey. Go live in New Jersey if you don't like it. I don't want to live in New Jersey. All right, I live on Long Island. These woods are public land, should be available to hikers every single day of the year. Not for an entire month especially, all right? For it to be just closed off so a bunch of people can go in there and shoot deer, all right? I'm sorry. And I know this is going to piss off some people. Look, I'm very good at pissing off people. Obviously, 30 dislikes on a weather video I uploaded just an hour or two ago. I know. All right. Those ratings are no longer public, by the way. So a certain demographic and people who want to intimidate me, you know what? Make a comment below as long as it's appropriate. It allows. Come out, make a comment if you disagree with what I'm saying, and if you do it in a respectful way. I'm not gonna take it down or anything like that. All right. But understand where I'm coming from, all right? Long Island is a heavily overdeveloped place. We don't have a lot of places to begin with on Long Island. And to have hunters come in and just take over the woods for an entire month and everybody else can't go in there and hike, I have a big problem with that, especially because it's like probably 50 to 60, probably two-thirds of the woods are off limits during the hunting season, which is the entire month of January, best season to hike. And I can't go into my own Pine Barrens for the most part to do hiking. I have to go to New Jersey, all right? Obviously this may be part of the end game, obviously, to force us over to live in New Jersey. I know all about it, all right? But I'm not going along with the end game, all right? I'm sorry. Deer are beautiful animals. I have no desire to hunt them and shoot them. Obviously some people do. Even if the meat is going to a good cause, I guess, I can understand. Look, I eat meat, so I can't tell people not to shoot animals if they are, do it for, but a lot of times it's done for sport, and that I have a big problem with, and not doing it for, food, In this day and age, I'm sorry. I just don't think we should be hunting deer on Long Island because Long Island is a heavily developed place, and we need to have our woods preserved. And I don't think people should be going in there and killing animals or disrupting anything. all right, in the woods. It's supposed to be a preserve. People shouldn't be going in there and doing stuff. That's my own opinion. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with it, but that is my opinion about hunting in general on Long Island. I'm sorry if you don't agree with that. That's going to conclude this video on firearms deer hunting. But remember, if you're going hiking on Long Island in January, if you go into New York State DEC property, you either don't have a permit or you go in there during the firearms deer hunting, you could be summoned, you could be arrested by the New York State Park Police for going hiking in the Pine Barrens. This is the way it is on Long Island, folks. It needs to change. We shouldn't have to live in New Jersey for this. Obviously, I don't want to have to live in New Jersey. All right, but I understand why people do want to live in New Jersey. It's there are more pine barrens. It's cheaper to live, and you don't have all these stupid regulations. But I'm a Long Islander, and I don't plan on going anywhere, not without a fight anyway. So with that, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching.